Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of the Ecology and Environment series by Law Excellence. In this video, we'll try to understand the concept of wetlands, their importance, and also about the sites in India. Now, before getting into the discussion, why does this topic become important for our prelims exam this year? This topic becomes important because the 5 sites which have been listed here have been recently added to the list of wetlands in India. They are the Yasan Conservation Reserve in the state of Uttarakhand, Kabatal Wetland in the state of Bihar, Lonar Lake in the Maharashtra, Sursarovar Lake in the state of Uttar Pradesh, Sokar Wetland Complex in the Ladakh region. So, what are wetlands? They are the intersectional points or the transitional points between the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. They are the lands covered with water and are saturated with moisture throughout the year. The wetlands can be both coastal and inland. They can also be floodplains, swamp and marshes, mangroves, delta, etc. See, even a paddy field can be a wetland. Wetlands are usually found in the low-lying areas. See, these wetlands are home to many aquatic plants, insects, amphibians, reptiles, birds, fish, mammals, and many microbial bacterial communities. So, all this biodiversity matters to us. Also, if you look at it, 30% of the land-based carbon is stored in the wetlands. So, the wetlands are a very good carbon sinks for the world. And the swamps and marshes remove the pollutants from the water. Also, around 1 billion people around the world depend on wetlands for their livelihoods. And wetlands also provide approximately 47 trillion US dollars in essential services every year. So, loss of the wetlands is the loss of all this biodiversity and the benefits we are getting from the wetlands. Now, why should we protect these wetlands? See, as we have discussed earlier, wetlands are very important for us. They provide several important resources and ecosystem services such as food, water, fiber, groundwater, water purification, flood moderation, erosion control, and climate regulation. Also, they are a major source of water, and our main supply of fresh water comes from an array of wetlands which help soak rainfall and recharge the groundwater level. See, wetlands are declared as the Ramsar sites and are protected under strict guidelines of this convention. The Ministry of the Environment, Forest and Climate Change has prepared a 4-pronged strategy for the restoration of wetlands, which includes preparing a baseline data, wetland health cards, enlisting wetland mitras, and preparing targeted integrated management plans. Now let us see what Ramsar Convention is. See, Ramsar Convention is an international treaty for the global conservation and sustainable use of wetlands. Ramsar is the name of a city in Iran on the coast of Caspian Sea, and this is where the treaty was signed on 2nd February 1971. See, this convention is commonly known as the Convention on Wetlands, and it's officially called as the Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat. It was signed in the year 1971, but it came into force in the year 1975. Initially, there were 26 sites in India, and all the 26 have been shown in this map. These were the sites which were later added in the states of Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra. In total, 13 new sites were added later to the list, and all the 13 have been shown here in this map. The Lonar Lake in Maharashtra and the Keetham Lake in Uttar Pradesh are the most recently added Ramsar sites. The Sokar wetland complex in the Ladakh region is also one of the recently added wetlands, and it's also now a wetland of international importance. The same has been shown here. Here is the Sokar wetland, and if you can see here the Pangong Tso Lake, where the dispute between India and China was happening earlier. In this map, you can see all the 42 slides, which is the total number of Ramsar wetland sites in India now. And here the table is also given. We have listed down all the 42 Ramsar sites in a tabular form, along with the location and also the date of declaration. So it will be easy for you to revise, and you can get back here whenever you have any doubts. Now let us look at each of these sites one by one. Now before talking about the sites, you need to know something called as the Montreux record. See, the Montreux record under the Ramsar Convention is a register of wetland sites on the list of wetlands of international importance. It is maintained as the part of the Ramsar list. At present, there are two such sites in India. One is the Kolardio National Park in the state of Rajasthan, and the other one is the Loktak Lake in the state of Manipur. Chilka Lake in the state of Odisha was the first Indian site to be placed on Montreux record, but in 1993, due to siltation, it was removed from the list. So now let us start talking about the Ramsar sites in India one by one. The first one we are going to talk about is Vular Lake. See, Vular Lake is located in the Bandipora district in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, why is this important, and what are the features of the site? See, this lake basin was formed as a result of the tectonic activity and is fed by the river Jhelum. Much of the lake has been drained as a result of willow plantations, and this willow is used for making cricket bats, fruit boxes, etc. The Tulbul project is a navigation log cum control structure which is constructed at the mouth of Vular Lake. And this lake is one of the largest freshwater lakes in Asia. The next site we are going to talk about is the Vembanad Coal Wetland, which is situated in the state of Kerala. It is separated by the Arabian Sea by a narrow barrier island and is a popular backwater stretch in the state of Kerala. It is the largest lake in Kerala and the longest lake in the entire country. The Kumakoram Bird Sanctuary is located on the east coast of this Vembanad Coal Lake. Valam Kali, which is famously known as the Nehru Trophy boat race, is a snake boat race which is held every year in the month of August in the Vembanad Lake. So, the next site we are going to talk about is the Upper Ganga River Bridgeghat to Narora stretch. It is located in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and it is a shallow river stretch of the Great Ganges River with intermittent small stretches of deep water pools and reservoirs upstream from the river barrages. The river provides a habitat for IUCN red-listed Ganges river dolphin, gharial, crocodile, 6 species of turtles, otters, 82 species of fish, and more than 100 species of birds. So now that it habitats so many IUCN red-listed creatures, it becomes important from the exam point of view. The next site is the Somoriri Lake. It is located in the Changtang region of Ladakh, and it is a freshwater to brackish water lake lying at a 4,595 meters above the sea level with wet meadows and borax laden wetlands along the shores. See, this is very unusual because usually the wetlands are low lying areas. This site is said to represent the only breeding ground outside of China for one of the most endangered cranes, which is the black necked crane, and the only breeding ground for the bar headed geese in India. This is the Somoruri Lake shown in the map. The Sokar Wetland Complex is located in the Changtang region of Ladakh, same as the Somoruri Lake. Its name means white lake because of the white salt efflorescence found on the margins of the lake due to the evaporation of the water, which is very saline. The Sokar Basin is an A1 category important bird area as per BirdLife International and a key staging site in the Central Asian Flyway. See, this site is also one of the most important breeding areas of the black-necked crane in our country. This is the Sokar Lake in the map. The next site we are going to talk about is the Su Sarovar Lake, which is also known as the Khitham Lake. It is located in the Agra region in the state of Uttar Pradesh. You can see here is the Khitham Lake, and it is situated within the Su Sarovar Bird Sanctuary, which is declared as a bird sanctuary in the year 1991. It is situated along the river Yamuna, as you can see in the map here. The next site we are going to talk about is the Surinsar Mansar Lakes in the Jammu and Kashmir region. See, it is a freshwater composite lake in the semi-arid Punjab plains, adjoining the Jhelum River basin with a catchment of a sandy conglomeratic soil, boulders and pebbles. See, Surinsar is a rain-fed without permanent discharge, and Mansar is primarily fed by surface runoff and partially by mineralized water through paddy fields, with this inflow increasing in the rainy season. Next site is the Sundarbans wetlands, which is in the Bay of Bengal state. See, it comprises of hundreds of islands and a network of rivers, tributaries and creeks in the delta of Ganga and the Brahmaputra at the mouth of the Bay of Bengal Sea. See, it is located in both India as well as Bangladesh. It is on the southwestern part of the delta. The Indian Sundarban constitutes over 60% of the country's total mangrove forest area. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is home to the Royal Bengal tiger. If you look at this map, this is the Sundarban National Park, and this entire region is the Sundarban Delta. The next site is the Sastamkotta Lake, which is situated in the state of Kerala. See, it is the largest freshwater lake in Kerala, and this lake is named after the ancient Sasta temple, which is a pilgrimage center located on its bank. The source of the water for this lake is from the underground sprouts. If you look at the map, here is the Sastamkota Lake. The next site is the Sasai Nawaz Jheel. It is located in the Etawah district of Uttar Pradesh, and it is typical wetland of Indo-Gangetic floodplain, is led by precipitation runoff from the southwest monsoon rains. It is an example of cohabitation of humans and wildlife, and the farming practices across most of the site play an important role in sustaining the water bird habitats. A particular beneficiary is the vulnerable Sares crane. The site's name is derived from this large non-migratory crane. The Sandeep Bird Sanctuary, which is located in the Hardoi district of Uttar Pradesh, is shown in the map here. It is a freshwater marsh. The wetland is typical of the Indo-Gangetic plains and receives most of its water from monsoon rains. See, it is home to over 1% of the South Asian's population of common teal, red-crested pochard, and ferruginous duck, while the vulnerable Sarus crane has a population of 200 individuals within this sanctuary. And this is the boundary of the sanctuary, and this is the sanctuary. The next site we are going to talk about is the Sambar Lake in the state of Rajasthan. See, it is a large saline lake fed by four streams set in a shallow wetland and subject to seasonal fluctuations. It is surrounded by sand flats and a dried thorn scrub and fed by seasonal rivers and streams. See, the site is important for a variety of wintering waterbirds, including large number of flamingos. This is the Sambar Lake. The next site is the Samaspur Bird Sanctuary, which is located in the Rabareilly district of Uttar Pradesh state. See, it is a perennial lowland marsh typical of the Indo-Gangetic plains. Its six connected lakes are heavily relevant on monsoon rains. However, invasive species threaten its ecological behavior, with over 40% of the documented floral species being exotic. At least 46 freshwater fish species use the wetland, with some migrating in from nearby rivers during the monsoon flood periods. The next site we are going to talk about is the Saman Bird Sanctuary, which is located in the Mainipuri district of the UP state. It is a seasonal oxbow lake on the Ganges floodplain. It is heavily reliant on the arrival of the southwesterly monsoon in July month and August month, which provides the vast majority of annual rainfall. See, this sanctuary regularly provides refuge to over 50,000 water birds, of which 187 bird species have been recorded, and is particularly important as a wintering site for many migrants, including the grey-lag goose, with over 1% of the South Asian population present during winter. The next site is the Rudrasagar Lake, which is in the West Tripura district. It is a lowland sedimentation reservoir in the northeast hills, fed by three perennial streams discharging to the river Gomti. It is an ideal habitat for the three-striped roof turtle Kachaga dhonka, which is in the IUCN Red List. Owing to the high rainfall, which is around 2500 millimeters, and downstream topography, the wetland is regularly flooded with a 4 to 5 times annual peak, assisting in the groundwater recharge. The next site is the Ropat Lake, which is in the state of Punjab. It is a human-made wetland of lake and river formed by the 1952 construction of a barrage for diversion of water from the Sutlej River, which is for drinking and irrigation purposes. The site is an important breeding place for the nationally protected smooth Indian otter, hog deer, sambar, and several reptiles, and the endangered Indian pangolin is thought to be present in this site. The next wetland we are going to talk about is the Renuka wetland, which is located in the state of Himachal Pradesh. It is both a wildlife sanctuary and a reserve forest also. A natural wetland with fresh water springs and inland subterranean karst formations, fed by a small stream flowing from the lower Himalayan out to the Giri River. See, this lake has high religious significance and is named after the mother of Hindu sage Parshura, and it's thus visited by thousands of pilgrims and tourists every year. The next site is the Pongdam Lake in the state of Himachal Pradesh, a water reservoir created in the 1975 on the Bias River in the low foothills of the Himalaya on the northern edge of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. See, the hydrological values include monsoon season flood prevention both in the surroundings as well as the downstream due to water regulation, groundwater recharge, silt trapping, and prevention of soil erosion. This is the Pongdam Lake. The next site we are going to talk about is the Point Calamari Wildlife and Bird Sanctuary. It is located in the state of Tamil Nadu and can be seen here. It is a coastal area consisting of shallow waters, shores, and long sandbars, intertidal flats, and intertidal forests, chiefly mangrove and seasonal, and they are often saline lagoons as well as human made salt exploitation sites. The site serves as the breeding ground or nursery for many commercially important species of fish as well as for prawns and crabs. Now, if you look at the map, there are many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries surrounding the Point Calamari Wildlife Sanctuary. Please have a look at all of these because this might be asked in the exam. The next one is the Parvati Agra Bird Sanctuary, which is located in the Tarabganj Tehsil in Uttar Pradesh state. It is a permanent freshwater environment consisting of two oxbow lakes as shown in this figure. It is also critical in the maintenance of hydrological regimes, ensuring groundwater recharge and discharge. The next one is the Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary, which is located in the Lucknow of Uttar Pradesh state. It is a shallow marshland. Monsoon rains feed this diverse wetland while the Sarda Canal supplies additional water to this wetland. The sanctuary supports recreation and tourism activities as well as local biodiversity. The next one is the Nangal Wildlife Sanctuary, which is in the Shivalik foothills of Punjab state. It is highly eco-sensitive Nangal Wildlife Sanctuary which supports the abundant flora and fauna including threatened species. It occupies a human-made reservoir constructed as part of the Bakra Nangal project in the year 1961. The site is of historic importance as the Indian and the Chinese Prime Ministers formalized the five principles of peaceful coexistence in this place in the year 1954. The next one is the Nandur Madhameshwar site. It is in the state of Maharashtra, and this site is a mosaic of lakes, marshes, and riparian forest of the Deccan Plateau. The construction of the Nandur Madhameshwar Weir at the confluence of the Godavari and Kadwa rivers helped to create a thriving wetland which was originally designed to overcome water shortages in the surrounding area. But now the site also serves as a buffer against the floodwaters and also it is a rich biodiversity hotspot. If you look at the map, this is the next site. One is the Nal Sarovar Bird Sanctuary. It is located in the state of Gujarat and is a natural freshwater lake that is the largest natural wetland in the Thar Desert, and it represents a dynamic environment with salinity and depth varying depending on the rainfall. It is an important stopover site within the Central Asia flyway with globally threatened species. If you look at the map, it is located in this part of Gujarat, and this is the map of the site. The next one is the Lonar Lake in the Buldana district of Maharashtra. It is an important site because it was recently added to the list. See, this wetland on the Deccan Plateau is an endorheic or closed basin which is almost circular in shape because it is formed by a meteorite impact onto the basalt bedrock. The site also includes the lake as well as the escarpments which form the crater walls and forested zones. The lake is high in salinity and also alkalinity, as the lack of an outflow leads to a concentration of minerals as the lake water evaporates. Specialized microorganisms such as anaerobics, cyanobacteria, and phytoplankton survive in this harsh chemical environment. And if you look at the picture, this is the Lonar Lake. The next site is the Loktak Lake in the state of Manipur. It is a very important site because it was added to the Montrex record and it was added in 16 June 1993. A large but shrinking freshwater lake, and it is associated with swamplands supplied by several streams. Thick floating mats of weeds covered with soil are a characteristic feature of this lake, which are called Fumdis. And if you look at the map, this is where the Loktak Lake is present. The next site is the Kolleru Lake in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It is a natural eutrophic lake situated between the two major river basins of the river Godavari and the river Krishna, fed by two seasonal rivers and a number of drains and channels which function as a natural flood balancing reservoir between the deltas of the two rivers. It provides habitat for a number of resident as well as migratory birds too. If you look at the map, it is present in this part of the state, and this is the map of the Kolleru Lake. The next site is the Keshapur Miani Community Reserve. It is located in the Gurdaspur district of Punjab, and the reserve is a mosaic of natural marshes, aquaculture ponds, and agricultural wetlands which are maintained by the annual rainfall runoff. It is heavily human influenced and includes a series of managed fish ponds and cultivated crops such as the lotus and chestnut. It is located in this part of the state, and this is the map of the site. The next site we're going to talk about is the Keoladeo National Park, which is in the state of Rajasthan. As we have discussed earlier, it is also a part of the Montrex record. It is a complex of 10 artificial seasonal lagoons which are varying in size and are situated in a densely populated region like this. Vegetation is a mosaic of scrub and open grassland which provides habitat for breeding, wintering, and staging migratory birds. A field research station also exists in this place. This site was placed on the Montrex record in 1990 due to water shortage and an unbalanced grazing regime. The next one is the Kanjli Lake, which is located in the state of Punjab. It is a permanent stream, the Kali Bain, converted by a construction of a small barrage in the year 1870 into a water storage area for irrigation purposes. See, the site fulfills criteria 3 because of its importance in supporting a considerable diversity of aquatic, mesophytic, and the terrestrial flora and fauna in the biogeographical region, and it also acts as a key regulator of groundwater discharge and recharge with the seasons. This is the picture of the site. The next site we are going to talk about is the Kabatal wetland, which is located in the Indo-Gangetic plains of the northern Bihar state, and this is in the Begusarai district. This site is one of the 18 wetlands within an extensive floodplain complex and it floods during the monsoon season to a depth of 1.5 meters. This absorption of flood waters is a vital service in Bihar state where 70% of the land is vulnerable to inundation. During the dry season, areas of marshland dry out and are used for the agriculture. If you look at the picture, this is the Kabatal wetland. The next site we are going to talk about is the Hokera wetland in the Jammu and Kashmir region. It is located at the northwest Himalayan biogeographic province of Kashmir, back of the snow-draped Pir Panjal range. Hokera wetland is only 10 kilometers from the scenic paradise of Srinagar. It is a natural perennial wetland contiguous to the Jhelum basin. The typical marshy vegetation complexes inhabit like Tifa, Phragmites, Eleurocharis, Trapa, and Nymphoids species ranging from shallow water to open water aquatic flora. This is the map of the wetland. The Harike Lake in the state of Punjab is a shallow water reservoir with 13 islands at the confluence of two rivers. It has a dense floating vegetation which covers 70% of the lake. The entire lake is given on lease on an annual basis to the commercial fishery organizations. The next site we are going to talk about is the East Kolkata wetlands in the state of West Bengal. It is world renowned as a model of a multiple use wetland. This site's source recovery systems developed by the local people throughout the ages have saved the city of Calcutta from the costs of constructing and maintaining wastewater treatment plants. The wetland forms an urban facility for treating the city's wastewater and utilizing the treated water for pisciculture and agriculture through the recovery of nutrients in an efficient manner. This is the map of the East Kolkata wetlands, and the blue color region is the boundary of the wetland. The next site is the Deepor Bill site in the state of Assam. It is a permanent freshwater lake in a former channel of the Brahmaputra river. See, it is of great biological importance and it is also essential as the only major storm water storage basin for the city of Guwahati. The Beel is a staging site on migratory flyways and some of the largest concentrations of the aquatic birds in Assam can be seen in this place, especially in the winter season. If you look at the map, this is the map of the site, and this is where the site is present. The next site we are going to talk about is the Chilka Lake, which is located in the state of Orissa at this place. It is a brackish lake separated from the Bay of Bengal by a long sandy ridge and subject to seawater exchange, resulting in extreme seasonal fluctuations in the salinity in different sections of the lake. The saline areas support the aquatic algae, and this was placed on the Montrex record in the year 1993 due to the problems caused by the siltation and sedimentation, which was choking the mouth of the lake, and it was removed from the record in 2002 following rehabilitation efforts for which the Chilka Development Authority received the Ramsar Wetland Conservation Award for the year 2000. And the next site we are going to talk about is the Chandatal wetland in the state of Himachal Pradesh. It is a high altitude lake on the upper Chandra Valley following to the Chandra River of the western Himalayas near the Kunzam Pass joining the Himalayan ranges and the Pir Panjal ranges. It supports the snow leopard, which has been listed in the IUCN Red List as well as sites also, and it is a refuge for many other species like the snowcock, chukor, black ringed slilt, kestrel, golden eagle, chough, red fox, Himalayan ibex, and blue sheep. This is the map of the Chandratal wetland. The next site we are going to talk about are the Bhoj wetlands in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Two contiguous human-made reservoirs. The upper lake was created in the 11th century by the construction of an earthen dam across the Kolins River, and the lower was constructed just nearly 200 years ago, largely from leakage from the upper, and is surrounded by the city of Bhopal. WWF India has been of great assistance in preparing the site's designation. If you look at the map, this is where it is present, and this is the complete map of the Bhoj. The next one is the Bhitarkanika mangroves, which is located in the state of Orissa. It is one of the finest remaining patches of the mangrove forests along the Indian coast. 25 years of continued conservation measures have made the site one of the best known wildlife sanctuaries. The site's Gahirmata beach is said to host the largest known olive ridley sea turtle nesting beach in the world, with 500,000 nesting annually. And the site has the highest density of saltwater crocodile in the country, with nearly 700 Crocodylus porosus. If you look at the map, this is the boundary of the site, and this is the map. The next site we are going to talk about is the Bears Conservation Reserve. It is situated in the state of Punjab, and it is a 185-kilometer stretch of the Bears River located primarily in the northwest of the state of Punjab as shown in this map. The river meanders down from the Himalayan foothills to the Haruke headworks, where its course is diverted into a number of channels. The river is dotted with islands, sandbars, and braided channels, creating a complex environment supporting substantial biodiversity. The next site we are going to talk about is the Bears Conservation Reserve. It is situated in the state of Punjab, and it is a 185-kilometer stretch of the Bears River located primarily in the northwest of the state of Punjab as shown in this map. The river meanders down from the Himalayan foothills to the Haruke headworks, where its course is diverted into a number of channels. The river is dotted with islands, sandbars, and braided channels, creating a complex environment supporting substantial biodiversity. The next site is the Asthamodi wetland in the state of Kerala. It is an extensive estuarine system and is the second largest in the Kerala state, which is of extraordinary importance for its hydrological functions, its biodiversity, and its support for the fish. The site supports a number of mangrove species also, as well as over 40 associated plant species, and 57 species of birds have been observed, including 6 which are migratory in nature. So this is where the sanctuary is located, and this is the map of the wetland. The last site we are going to discuss for today is the Assan Conservation Reserve, which is in the Dehradun district of Uttarakhand. The damming of the river by the Assan barrage in 1967 resulted in siltation above the dam wall, which helped to create some of the site's bird-friendly habitats. More than 1% of the biogeographical populations of 2 waterbird species have been recorded at this site. This is the reserve boundary given in green color, and this is the Yamuna. Thank you everyone, and all the very best.